Dear 2021 graduates, I'm Lisa Levina, Professor and Chair of the Department of Statistics, and I'm here to congratulate you on your new degrees. What a great milestone this is, and what a crazy, crazy way to reach it. We'd love to have celebrated with you in person. We hope you'll come back and visit us when it's possible, and we'll definitely find a way to celebrate that. Meanwhile, while none of us would have chosen to wrap up your education here the way we had to, this gives you even more reasons to be proud of yourselves and gives us even more reasons to be proud of you. You have all shown amazing resilience. You mastered new ways to learn and to interact, often faster than your professors. You weathered the isolation, the anxiety, and all the awfulness of the past pandemic year. You overcame all of it and completed your degrees. And these are extremely useful and in-demand degrees. Your skills in statistics and data science are needed by society more than ever. The last year has shown that to all of us very well. The education you have received here at Michigan will serve you well throughout your career and outlive this pandemic by decades. As you step out into the next chapter of your life, navigating new challenges, finding new joys, we wish you the best of luck. We know you will be successful, and we will continue to be proud of you. And for now, take a moment, celebrate and relax. Enjoy your summer, and go blue.
Hello, I'm Edward Ioannidis, Director of Undergraduate Programs in the Department of Statistics, and it's great to be here with you to celebrate the graduates from our programs. So we run three major programs: data science, informatics, and statistics, two minor programs, the minor in applied statistics and the minor in statistics. And I thought I'd just start by saying a little bit about these programs. So our three major programs, data science, statistics, informatics. Well, data science is kind of the new kid in town, a relatively new program at Michigan, relatively new program, relatively new concept overall. And the way we see data science, something that professional and academic statisticians and data scientists are trying to work out exactly what data science is. The way we see data science, statistics, and informatics is that they form different balances of this combination of mathematics, computer science, and domain sciences, which it's very powerful thing to combine. And perhaps the thing that combines them all is the data. So the domain sciences lead to data. The mathematics tells you what properties those data should have and the kind of formal rules that you use for drawing inferences from data. And then everything has to happen in a computer. As the data sets get more complex and larger, it becomes increasing computational challenge to handle that data, visualize it, find out what you've got. So it's really putting the three things together is the excitement. And statistics, data science, informatics just take slightly different balances of this. The data science maybe has a little bit more in the computer science direction. Our data science major is run jointly with electrical engineering, computer science, and statistics has a slightly more mathematical flavor. Informatics gets slightly deeper into the domain sciences, life science informatics in particular. But whichever one of these programs you're in, data is at the core. And I like to think of statistical science like a telescope. It lets us see what the unaided human eye cannot. A human eye just can't make sense of large collections of numbers. We need algorithms and principles to help us make sense of all that. And I find it wonderful when out of these kind of jumble of numbers, you get meaning that you just couldn't see without this discipline. And then, of course, you don't know initially whether what you found is true or false. And typically you need subsequent experience to find out whether you've done it right. And when everything works out and you make a discovery, that is that's what guides our discipline. So keep on doing it. And this is also a time to thank people. And it's not possible to thank everybody who's deserving of thanks, but let's go down the list. First of all, the teaching faculty, the lecturers and the professors. I'm just so impressed how they've dealt with apart from the pandemic. Even before the pandemic, there's a constant drive to keep our classes up to date with an advancing discipline, while also teaching the foundational skills that you need to understand all this exciting stuff, and at the same time looking after the students and being attentive to student needs. Obviously, the teaching faculty are essential to the program, but they're not the only essential people. We have support staff, and one person I'd like particularly to give a shout out to is Gina Kornakia, the undergrad program coordinator. Pretty much all the students will know Gina. We've all talked to her, asked her questions about the program, sought her advice dealing with any difficulties that arise or just any administration that has to be done. Thank you, Gina, but also thanks to all the other staff in the office who are very important to the program. Now, graduation, there's, the teaching faculty and staff may have helped you through this program, but you wouldn't even be here if it weren't for other support systems. And for many of us, that key players are parents, right? Parents have guided us since we were young, and there's just a lot to be grateful for there. And there are certainly other people involved, maybe key grade school teachers or other individuals that we should be grateful for at this time. And we mustn't forget the graduates put in all this work, made a commitment to the statistical sciences, and supported each other, dealt with the pandemic, got used to Zoom calls, collaborating with people in different time zones, all these things we've been getting used to the past year, and graduating is quite challenging enough even without that. Our programs have difficult courses, and everybody, where the courses are at a range of levels, everybody hopefully has kept going with more and more ambitious courses until they found at least some that really truly challenged them. And we appreciate how everybody helps each other get through these things. Well, so let's summarize it with a congratulations to the graduating class of 2021. You've got a bright future. You're graduating from the University of Michigan, many opportunities. Just before you head off, I hope you'll take the opportunity to talk amongst yourselves and with the faculty and staff. We'd love to hear more. If you haven't given feedback yet, we'd like to know, which were your favorite classes. And as you take this experience with you through your career, where we hope you'll grow professionally and personally, and that your Michigan experience will be a great foundation for you, we would love to keep hearing from you. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Zweju, currently assistant professor at the Department of Statistics UM. It's my great honor and a pleasure to be with you and give this faculty speech at your graduation ceremony. Congratulations to all the graduates. You've accomplished so much in the past 4 years or so, and this is a really exciting turning point of your life and career. I'm really proud of you all. As I'm recalling the time I was a fresh graduate, actually, I remember I had an issue that bothered me a lot that I would like to share that with you today. That is about ambiguity. When I was an undergrad, like most of you, I took 4 to 5 courses every semester. I had exam reports, exam scores, grade point average, monthly comments from my academic advisors. I had so many channels through which I knew where I was in my class and which subject I was weak at so that I can optimize my energy and time to enhance my overall performance. However, when I graduated and became a PhD student in the States, I found all these channels were nearly gone. Instead, I had to make independent decisions on which no one commented on. For example, I had to find my PhD advisor. I had to determine my PhD thesis topic. Though I had a cohort of students of size 9 or 10, every one of us came from very different backgrounds so that we actually work on very different problems. That means there's no, quote, GSI, quote, to resort to. That ambiguity overwhelmed me in the first year of my PhD. So now it's been around 10 years since I graduated, and I gradually figure out a strategy to address this kind of ambiguity. And I hope this can be useful to you. That is trying to reach out to people outside your field or institution. Such connection can sometimes give you surprises and can even be crucial to your career development. Let me give you my story as an example. When I was a third-year PhD student, I was stuck on a research project for nearly a year, no progress at all, and that's my only research project. I was so nervous and depressed at that moment. When I was talking to my friend in computer science, I definitely didn't expect any concrete solution from him, but he just mentioned the paper and he thought that results therein could be helpful for my research. I took a closer look and surprisingly, there was a result therein that finally helped me solve my problem completely. That work is one of the works that I'm most proud of during my PhD, and it was finally published at the Annals of Statistics. That experience taught me a lesson. By connecting to people outside my field and institution, I can get advice from people who received very different trainings and had different mindsets so that I can create innovative ideas and bring in breakthroughs. I hope you found this example encouraging. Finally, let me congratulate again, and I hope the statistical techniques and the mindsets you learned at our department could help further your future career. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Eric Margolin. In the past year and a half, we've gone from 300-person lecture halls and collaborative learning to individual study and self-paced online classes because of the pandemic. So just in case you find yourself in the middle of a historic world-altering pandemic, or just in another Zoom meeting, here are some of the pieces of advice that have helped me get through the past year of virtual school. Number 1, don't go to class from your bed. I worked from bed for a solid few months. I didn't plan to. I ordered one of those medicine ball chairs that's supposed to be good for your back, and I cleaned off my desk. But it inevitably got cluttered again, and the chair was just a flop. So I switched to my bed. I propped my pillow up behind me, iPad on my lap, computer next to me to watch lectures, and tried to get to work. Inevitably, about halfway through lecture, I'd end up doing something on my phone or the iPad or just get under the covers and go back to sleep. I'd do literally anything else but pay attention, because why would I? I'm in bed. I couldn't focus on class when I didn't have to leave my bed to do it. I didn't have any separation between my personal life and my schoolwork. This separation is crucial, though. Researchers from Bowling Green have found that a break from the work state of mind allows recovery from strain and ends patterns of negativity that drive pessimism and chronic stress. Leaving work at work, they say, allows people to be more relaxed at home and more productive at work. When you have to both live and work in the same building, this is a lot more difficult. There are constant reminders of all the work-related things you need to do. So creating a distinct working space or developing a pre-work routine can help counter these feelings by providing a delineation on a smaller scale. Going back into the world, though, keeping this separation of work and life is going to be so important. The same study from Bowling Green found that while physical distance from work is a factor in stress recovery, becoming psychologically detached from work is a crucial aspect of any recovery process. In order to actually recover from job-related stress, you need to leave the workplace behind at a psychological level. If you don't, you'll get mentally bogged down in both of them, and they'll start to bleed into each other. You're thinking about either work or your personal life while doing the other, leading to a decrease in productivity and a decrease in general well-being. By establishing physical and mental separations between work and life, we set ourselves up to succeed in both. Number 2, turn on your camera in breakout rooms. For those of you who don't have an in-depth Zoom vocabulary, congratulations. But breakout rooms are when the big class gets separated into small virtual rooms. They're meant to replace some of the group collaboration from the real world, but they can be really hit or miss. They're generally awkward and uncomfortable, but all too often they're filled with silence and blank screens. No one says anything for the duration of the breakout room, and no one turns on their camera. A few minutes later, we'll all be back in the main session, and that's it. We didn't learn anything, we didn't collaborate, we just sat there in silence. Every once in a while, though, it was different. In a breakout room for a School of Education class on leadership, we talked about our personal values and our tangible goals to make those values real. My group members, with their cameras on, told deeply personal stories and shared experiences that shaped their values. People were vulnerable, they were empathetic, and each of us came out with a clearer picture of our values, others' experiences, and our responsibilities to each other. While I've learned the dangers of inferring causation from correlation, I've got to think these different outcomes were related to camera use. It's easy to forget the people on the other side of the screen are real people when you can't see them. And listen, I know it sucks. None of us want to be doing this over Zoom. And some of us don't even want to be doing this at all. You're not alone. But it's so much better if you try. If you open up and let yourself be seen, you're putting in the work to make the best of a bad situation. Firsthand, though, that's easier said than done. It's hard to stay on all the time. It's draining to be seen. And there are days when I need to keep my camera off for my own sanity. So piece of advice number 3, use the chat feature. Back when school wasn't virtual, I had a process for speaking up, a routine. Before I asked anything out loud, I'd write down my question, change the wording around so it sounded better, practice in my head a few times, and then raise my hand. Hopefully by the time I did, the lecturer hadn't moved on. Some of you may not relate to this at all, and props to you for that, but I'd be willing to bet almost everyone's had a question they haven't asked for any number of reasons. So social scientists generally agree that there are 2 main goals humans try to accomplish through conversation: information exchange and impression management. Asking questions has been shown to be an effective way to achieve both of those goals. The information exchange front seems relatively straightforward. You generally ask questions to get answers. Usually, the answers teach you something new, or they reframe a concept so you can better understand an old idea. But asking questions actually facilitates learning at a much deeper level. By asking good questions and listening to the answers, we gain insights into the lives of others, allowing us to be more sympathetic and reduce our unconscious biases. In essence, we become not just smarter, but better people by asking questions and listening to the answers. Despite these benefits, people often don't ask questions out of a fear of mismanaging the impressions they leave on others. We're afraid that we're going to trip over our words or be scoffed at by those we're questioning. But research coming out of Harvard suggests the opposite is actually true. They've shown there's a consistent relationship between question asking and liking. Put another way, People who ask more questions, particularly thoughtful ones, form deeper bonds with their conversation partners. Those who ask more questions are perceived to care more, listen better, and be generally more understanding. They tend to build strong, trust-based relationships that end up increasing happiness and well-being. So even though it's hard to ask questions, we need to take advantage of every way to ask and answer questions that we can, including the chat feature on Zoom. So ask for help when you need it in school or life in whatever way you feel comfortable, but the most important thing is that you ask. So I know this isn't how any of us pictured our senior year or our graduation, and I know we're all ready to get back to normal life as quickly as possible. But the worst thing we can do right now is move on from this pandemic and from this university so fast that we fail to remember everything we've learned from these experiences. So get out of bed, turn on your camera, and ask some questions. Thank you, and go Blue.
Hello everyone, my name is Juju Wang, graduating this semester as a double major in statistics and economics. I'm glad to have this opportunity to share my experiences and gains during my undergraduate years at the University of Michigan. Life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. This is a famous statement from Forrest Gump, a simple man with good intentions. And this statement describes my past year in college pretty well. 4 years ago, as a finance major at a university in China, I did not expect that I would change my major and transfer to the UMich. 3 years ago, when I took my first step to the UMich campus, I did not anticipate the research experiences that fostered my interest in further study in the statistical fields. 2 years ago, when I entered the West Hall for an office hour, I never thought about the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic that moved everything online for an entire year. The future is unpredictable, but that is the beauty of life. The ups and downs enriches our lives, makes us stronger, and leads us to maturity. On the other hand, although the life is full of uncertainties, with hard work and great ambition, I believe that we'll eventually get closer to our dreams. I have always held a profound interest in social science, and I have realized the important role statistics plays in the relevant fields. Statistics is like a key to the world of logic and order that deepens people's understanding of the nature of the world. Holding this in mind, I have engaged myself with advanced courses in statistics. In addition, to improve skills in information gathering, autonomous learning, and independent thinking, I involved in both statistics and economics research, and I have enjoyed a lot and gained a lot throughout this process. I have also received encouragement and great many help from the faculty, JSIs, and the staffs from the Department of Statistics, and I would want to express my great gratitude to them. Finally, although we were faced with a lot of challenges in the past year, we have all made it through, and I believe that the future will be bright for us. I wish that everyone can hold a passionate attitude towards life and achieve the goals one day.